black and white. So color in photography, it combines both art, science, culture with your own personal style. Each photographer develops his own personal colors, personal way of presenting the colors, and it is a it can make or break a scene or a photo storyline, which is why today's topic is about learning and using color theory in your photography. Color organization systems have been around for artists for so many years, but it was initially Newton who first time started, dividing the sunlight into several colors. He's the one who started the color theory for the first time. His was a very flawed color theory. And then Goethe, who was also known for his poetry, also was a color theory expert. So he had created color wheels. These are the Newton's color wheel and the Goethe's color wheels were the two most well-known color wheels in the ancient history. Now, if you go through what is color theory, it's a technique used primarily in the varying fields of art, design, and it plays a major role in creating an effective color palette for those particular fields. Color theory is an important component of delivering a message, which otherwise, for most photographers, adding color is just, mixing some of the colors, making one color bright, one color dull, and putting together. It's just, but that is not really what the color theory stands for. The best way to explain color theory is like comparing to a guitar chord. Those who have used guitar know how to do it, but those who don't know anything about a guitar, a chord is created by pressing the finger down on the strings of a guitar in certain places. Each string, when you press it, ring a certain note, and when all the strings are strummed together, those individual notes play at the same time and they create a chord. If a finger is put in the right place on the string, the proper notes are created, and each individual string, the chord will sound beautiful and harmonious. If one or more fingers press the strings in the wrong place, the chord will not sound right. It will not be harmonious. This is because certain frequencies of sound waves work together due to mathematical relationship. Now remember, color is also a wave. It's an electromagnetic wave, which our eyes perceive in the same way. A color is just a specific wavelength of visible light. So when the colors that are harmonious mingle with one another, combined in a right way, they look beautiful together. So color theory was originally formulated by artists. They called three primary primitive colors: red, yellow, and blue. And they tried to mix each other to create what are called the color wheels. Now this is the RYB color wheel, what you're seeing in the screen. So it uses the red, yellow, and blue to make out all the colors. This is what painters usually use. But unfortunately, in the digital media, okay, let me go back to RYB color model. See, what happens is, according to the traditional color theory, the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. So yellow mixed with purple, orange mixed with blue, and the red mixed with green produces a equivalent gray value. So these are both colors as well as complementary colors. There are primary colors, there are complementary colors, which are the next colors next to each other. Now, however, when the complementary colors were chosen based on the light of mixture, like that's what happens in a computer or any other media, digital media which we are using, which basically uses three different lights which are mixed together. Now, that is where the yellow falls behind. So that's why we have red, green, and blue which match together. See, the red, green, and blue, when you match together, it will produce other complementary colors, which is the cyan, magenta, and yellow. So when all of them add together, they make you white. Now there are also subtractive colors. These are the reverse of red, green, and blue. So this is cyan, magenta, yellow. So when they add together, they'll make a black. Okay, this is a CMYK which is used in printing technologies. So now this is the wheel which is the RGB and CMYK wheel. So this is different from the RYB wheel. Now, as far as the photographers are concerned, we use this way, this colorway. There are different color shades which are considered warm and cool. The distinction between warm and cooler colors are important because they also tell about the mood. This started somewhere in the 18th century, seems to have related to mainly landscape light between the warm colors associated with the daylight or the sunset and the cool colors associated with the overcast sky and the night. Warm colors are usually red to yellow or warm, the brown and tan included with that. And the cool colors are often the green, blue, violet, and most of the grays are considered as a cool colors. So this is about, briefly about the colors. You can go into details. I'm not really going into various details, why CMYK is used in printing, why RGB is used in printing. That doesn't really fit into this whole color theory. What we'll go through today is basically what is color, how do you define color, how do you get the color you want, and how do you mix both of them together. So basically, what is the color? If you ask a physicist, he will say that it's a wavelength of light. So each color to be measured as a wavelength of light, human eye can perceive colors from 390 nanometers to about 700 nanometers. That's a visible light. Anything beyond that is invisible light. Ultraviolet and infrared are invisible. X-rays are a different type of light, electromagnetic waves, which are not visible to our human eye. Our perception of different colors, mainly personal experience. Remember, none of us see exactly the same color. So the colors are different from different individual, but overall humans see a particular number of colors and in a particular way. So color theory is vocabulary of these colors, what humans see between 390 and 700 nanometer wavelength light. And then we divide it into three basic properties: the hue, value, and saturation. Now, a lot of people might get confused. Value is different from hue, saturation, and luminance. So value is different. I'll explain you how it is. Now, let's say this is the color wheel without all those divisions. Let's take first value. What is a hue? So hue is used to describe a color. For example, the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, all these in a natural state, what we explain, is a hue. We can also say something is warm hue, red, orange, yellow, which I just explained, or cool hue, like green, blue, violet. So hue is a color without any black, white, or gray added to it, is a hue. So in other words, hue is a pure color. Now, hue are shown as a graphic, something like this, a scale of 0 to 360. So, and each value is marked down for each one of them. So, green somewhere comes at about 120, the red comes at 0, and going up all the way to 360. So, that is how the hue is marked. So, all hues are colors. Not all colors are hues, but all hues are colors. To produce different colors, hues are tinted, shaded, or toned. So this is where the value comes in. So value describes the relative amount of lightness or darkness of a color, where you add a particular amount of black, white, or gray to make it into a different type of a tint, shade, or a tone. So what is a tint, shade, and a tone? If you add white like this, then it is called a tinting. So when a color is light, so it's tinted, their lightness value increases. So this is where we call the lightness or a luminosity value increases. don't confuse lightness and luminosity as well as tinting. So tinting is basically when you add white to a color. So three primary colors are here: the red, green, and blue. So as on the right hand corner will be the pure colors, and as you add the white, which is on the left hand corner, the hues are getting tinted and the lightness increases. So remember, at the end of this left edge, any color is not pure white, but it can be almost very close to pure white. Now let's go to the next part, what's called a shading. Shading is adding black. So when you add a color black to a hue, then it is called a shading. The shading decreases the lightness value of the colors, so decreasing their perceived brightness, so it doesn't become bright enough. So again, far right is pure colors, pure hues, and far left is where the black is added, and then it becomes darker and darker until it goes into a total darkness. Next, we'll go for what is called a toning. This is where 50% of the gray is added. So 50%, it need not be 50%, but most of the time 50% of the gray, when you add it, it is called toning. So now the colors don't end up in white, they will end up into a 50% gray. So pure colors on the right side and the left side is 50% gray. It will be a little confusing now, but I think once you start using it, then it will be much more easier. The last part of the color complex is saturation. So what is a saturation? Saturation is called a purity of the color. So when a fully saturated color, it contains no white, no black, no gray. Remember the earlier shades where I was showing the right hand side? That is exactly it. Now I showed the red, green, and blue there. Here I'm showing cyan, magenta, and yellow, the three other colors. So those on the right hand side are purely fully saturated. And as they become unsaturated, this is not tone, but they go into a tonal scale. So non-saturated is on the left side and the saturated is on the right side. This is a little confusing because once you saw the initial shading and the tinting, and this saturation becomes a little confusing. So as a color becomes more tinted, desaturated, the lightness of the color increases or decreases. So let's go back. I mean, this is too much of PowerPoint presentation. Let's go into Photoshop. Give me a minute. I'll just, yeah. Can you see my Photoshop screen? Yeah. Now, what you're seeing here is basically the color values which are three-dimensionally added to it. Now, let me so on the top, what you are seeing is the value of hue. Remember, it was 0 to 360, so that's why it's a circle. So it's a 0 to 360, and 0 starts somewhere there where the red is. Now, if you go into a color picker and pick a color and see this color picker chart, you see this line. So it starts red to 360. That's where it that line is. Now, next comes the saturation. So this is the highly saturated area, and this is a low saturation. Now let me pick this color. This is a blue color. So when you saturate it as less as possible as this one, you can see this here. It's less saturated. So as you go to the edge, it is more saturated. So what you are seeing, this square, is exactly the slice of this. If I go to this corner, let's see this green comes, fluorescent green, and then this is a less saturated, that's why it's gray. And as it becomes more into shading is adding black, so that's where it goes down. Now remember, that is the value part. So when you're going down in the scale, it is a value part. So as you're going down, you're going into the shading is here. This is the toning, the midpoint, 50% gray, and this is tinting. So tint, tone, and shade. This is saturation from 0 saturation to 100% saturation. So this works for any one of these slices. So this slice is basically how the color is mapped in Photoshop. Okay, there is one question. If tint means adding white, then why coloring a car is called tinting? It's a misnomer. Yes, it is a misnomer. So the meeting will end in 10 minutes. So exactly at the 10 minutes, as soon as it ends or just before it ends, we'll be leaving the meeting and then again join us. Any other questions? Please, there is any question, please write in a chat. If there are no questions, I'll continue now.
Doc, I will exit now because I'll require 10 minutes to convert the recordings to rejoin.
Won't it remain like that?
No. I can't exit unless I record it.
Oh.
I'll exit. You continue with the questions.
Okay, I'll continue with questions. So if you have any questions now, let me know.